Hi, and welcome to kwickieTV NBA Today Quick Shots. I'm your host, Ken Thompson. We're coming at you live on Wednesday, December the 14th. If you've joined us before, you know how it works. 30 minutes nonstop NBA action. We'll cover it all. If you're joining us for the first time, sit back. It's going to be a wild show. Now, before we get rolling, Coach Dave Miller has a special message for all of you.
Ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus and I coming live from the North Pole. Okay, Manhattan Beach. Just play along. Listen. What's your favorite NBA team? What would you get them for Christmas? What's going to make them better once the new year arrives? Think about it and let me know.
The Miami Heat is my favorite team. For Christmas, we get Dwayne Wade back, but that's not going to happen. What will make them better? I think we will have to improve on our defense to make them better.
So now go to the search function key in your Quickie app, find Coach Dave Miller, look for the NBA Christmas shopping, and reply with your comments directly to the coach. All right, now on to tonight's show. How about the Chicago Bulls melting down? Kind of shocked us all in the Windy City as they took on Minnesota. We'll get into that game. We'll get into all the action from last night. We'll preview tonight's action. We'll take a look at things from a fantasy angle and also from a betting angle as Johnny Robb, our resident pro, stops by. We also have hot topics and headlines. We'll get to all of that. Enjoy yourself. Kick it. We're coming at you live in 157 countries. kwickieTV, NBA Today, Quick Shots. I'm your host, Ken Thompson. Stick around. All right, it's that time. Let's introduce our Quick Shots team. Take a look at the hardwood action from last night. 6 games on the docket, and there were some interesting ones. Talk a little bit about the Chicago Bulls melting down, blowing a 21-point lead, losing to Minnesota. Meanwhile, Cleveland continued to roll, got 29 from Kevin Love, 23 apiece from JR and LeBron, and lots of other action on the hardwood. Let's go to our Quick Shots team, find out what they thought about last night's games. Perfect question for a former coach. Coach Dave Miller. Last night, Coach Thibodeau goes back with Minnesota to Chicago's old stomping grounds to the Windy City to take on his former team, the Chicago Bulls. Things got crazy. D. Wade got tossed. Levine had a big game, and Minnesota erased the largest deficit in the NBA this season. Coach, what happened in Chicago last night?
Well, man, Ken, that was a huge win, maybe even season-defining for this young Minnesota Timberwolves team. They gave up 38 points in that first quarter, and then they were able to hold Chicago to 19 points or less for the next 3. They really flipped their script in terms of identity. This was a team that came out and had strong starts and floundered in the second half. Opposite versus the Bulls. This team came out, they were focused, they made multiple effort plays, and I thought it was their youthfulness that allowed them to defend the best that I had seen them and then get their transition game going. Huge, huge win for the Timberwolves, even bigger for Tom Thibodeau.
The Phoenix Suns took the points against the Knicks at home in overtime, 113-111. Team, who was the difference for the Suns?
Well, I think Shayna really hit the nail on the head there. Don't have much more to add. Bledsoe, great night scoring. Tyson Chandler, 23 rebounds. I mean, it's amazing. And to keep it that close, going to OT and pull out the win, great night for the Suns.
The Phoenix Suns took the points against the Knicks at home in overtime, 113-111. Team, who was the difference for the Suns?
I'd have to say there are a few difference makers for the Suns. Number one being Eric Bledsoe. He finished with 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. He did really well in overtime, definitely held it down for the Suns for this win. But you can't forget Tyson Chandler, who had 13 points and a season-high 23 rebounds. He played really well. And Marquise Chris played aggressive basketball. He got under the skin of Porzingis, finished with a double-double himself, 14 and 12. So all 3 of those players really were a big deal for the Suns last night. But let's not forget, Carmelo Anthony only went 3 for 15 from the field. Derrick Rose didn't play in the second half with back spasms, and Kristaps Porzingis fouled out with more than a minute left in the game. So had the Knicks been at this half of their game, they probably would have won. but a win is a win, and Eric Bledsoe had to have been the number one difference maker.
Well, the Cavs trio of James, Love, and Smith scored 75% of the Cavs' points to get the 103-86 victory over Memphis. So, Tracy, tell me, just how important is J.R. Smith to this team?
J.R. Smith is very important. You need that outside shooting. You need somebody that's going to stretch the court. And obviously, there's never a time where all three of the big three is off. But when they're struggling a little bit, he's the guy that can be that fourth guy to step up. And he's capable of going for big numbers, capable of getting you 20, 25 on any given night. So when you have a guy like that on the floor, stretching the floor, allowing King James and Kyrie to penetrate and score, Kevin Love on the other wing, when you have that much space to penetrate, it makes a balanced offense pretty doggone good.
The Russell Westbrook show took an ugly turn as the Oklahoma City Thunder were blown out by the Portland Trail Blazers in impressive fashion. Coach, wrap this game up for us. How did this happen?
Well, Chuck, first I want you to close your eyes and think of the Wizard of Oz. Remember what Dorothy said? There's no place like home. There's no place like home. That was Portland. They had been on the road for 4 straight games and had 4 straight losses. They were home for one night, actually 33 hours before they leave today to play Oklahoma City. Russell Westbrook frustrated. He had a bad night, 26-6. I'll take that. But really, they missed Victor Oladipo. OKC was out-muscled, and they were out-hustled from the tip. Credit McCollum, credit Lillard, but I thought it was the role players. Ed Davis, Turner, Crabbe, Leonard, they came through big. Portland with the huge win.
The headlines are running hot. We've got a great panel to take a look at them. Let's talk about the NBA's finest point guards. Chris Paul at the top of that list. We'll also talk about some other intriguing personalities in the NBA with Wesley Matthews topping that list. King LeBron James, Kyle Lowry, head coach of the Lakers Luke Walton, Marc Gasol, who missed last night's game. And what about Jay-Z? Take a swipe at Phil Jackson last night while presenting the King with the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year award. We'll do all of that right now as we take a look at hot topics and headlines.
At 31 years of age, Chris Paul is challenging the likes of Westbrook, Harden, and Steph Curry as the NBA's top point guard. What do you think about this, Tracy?
Well, Chuck, it doesn't surprise me, man. He's the ultimate floor general. He gets people in places, keeps the offense organized. He controls the game more or less. So when you have a guy like that and he's a threat to go off and score big numbers on any given night, he gets his assist every night. He has weapons on the floor. It's easy to be an impact when you have weapons around you, and then you're a solid point guard on after that too. And he plays both ends of the floor. He's feisty, man. He has a lot of pride. So he expects to be up there with those names, and he expects to be one of the ones fighting for the top point guards in the league. So Chris Paul he's one of the best, man.
Okay, panel. Who's the point guard on the hardwood and why?
Well, is that a serious question? Are we really asking who the best point guard is? It's obviously the guy averaging a triple-double in Russell Westbrook, the best kept secret in the NBA over the last few seasons, as he was eclipsed by the shadow of his own teammate, Kevin Durant. Now that he has this team all to himself, he can really shine and show what he has to offer, as he leads all point guards in the NBA in scoring, assists, and rebounds. This should come as no surprise, as we saw glimpses of this for the last few seasons. 2 years ago, he led the league in scoring. Last year, he was second in assists. And since the 2012-2013 season, he'd get you a minimum of 7 rebounds a game. Now that he's a solo show, he's dominating the NBA. He's proving that he's not only the best point guard in the NBA, he's the NBA's best overall player, period.
Okay, panel. Who's the point guard on the hardwood and why?
Everyone's going to think I'm crazy, but I got to go with the other number 0, and that's Damian Lillard. Guy has incredible scoring ability, but really what it is he makes his team better. You take a look at last season, and Portland shouldn't even made it to the playoffs after Wesley Matthews left. Aldridge over to the Spurs. They should have been in a rebuilding phase, but, Lillard pulled through. And it's going to be the same thing this season. They've got a young core, but Damian pulls them to the top. So, yes, Westbrook is averaging, all these crazy things, but I'm looking at someone who really brings the team up. So I got to go with Lillard.
Okay, panel. Who's the point guard on the hardwood and why?
Well, I love Damian Lillard. I have to go with Kyrie Irving. I've been arguing this point for the last several weeks now. I believe that Kyrie Irving is the best point guard in basketball for several reasons. I think that he can finish at the rim better than almost anyone in the league outside of maybe Steph Curry and obviously Russell Westbrook. But he's just got great touch around the rim. I think he really controls the game for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Most importantly, he's clutch. We all know what he did, hitting not only that three-pointer last year to beat Golden State, but in Game 5, people remember LeBron dropped 41, but he dropped 41 as well. I think this young kid is just a flat-out superstar. He's got the best handles in the league. That's not even debatable. And I just love his demeanor, his on-floor demeanor. He's an assassin, and he wants to win. And I love Kyrie Irving as the best point guard.
Wesley Matthews is delivering on his vow to be a better player before rupturing his Achilles. In his last 9 games, he's averaging 20 points per game on 45% shooting from the floor and 47% from the three-point line. Coach, what's your take?
Well, it all starts with character with Wesley and his DNA. He's a workhorse, one of the best two-way players in this game that really never gets mentioned. And he really started out the year stinking it up, and so did the Mavs starting 2-13. But remember, his role has changed. He was a 3-and-D player when he was acquired. And the thought process was he'd come in and complement Dirk, DeAndre Jordan, and Chandler Parsons. Man, have times changed. But it's his work ethic that has allowed him to stay the course, to work on his game. Now, he alongside with Harrison Barnes are the go-to guys until Dirk gets better.
LeBron James and Kyle Lowry, 2 phenomenal offensive players. Tracy, tell me, as a coach, who do you want on your team and why?
But Jay, I don't know if that was even a fair comparison to Kyle Lowry because he's a very good player, definitely a guy that deserves to be talked about amongst one of the best in the league right now. But compared to King James, no, you got to go with King James. He makes everybody around him better. He plays both ends of the floor. He's Mr. Unstoppable. He commands a bunch of double teams, and he wins championships. He's proven. That's why they call him the King.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about Luke Walton. He got ejected about 8 minutes into the ball game the other night. His Lakers have lost the last 6 in a row. Is he starting to feel the heat, feeling the pressure a little bit? Give me your take, Coach.
Well, every night in the NBA, you feel the heat and you feel the pressure. That goes without saying with this type of job. However, Luke's not really feeling either. Right now, it's not about winning, and I know that sounds cliche-ish, but it's about development. It's about building a culture, and I think he's doing that. This Laker team came out and exceeded all expectations early, and now they've sort of leveled off. So this was a Zen-like move. Remember, he played for Phil Jackson in order to let his guys know that I'm there. I feel our frustrations on the court, not my frustrations at the coach. And it was a great tactic to let them know that we're on the same page. I love you, and we've got to get through this together.
An interesting move by the Grizzlies to rest their best player, Marc Gasol, against the champs, Cleveland. Was it a good strategic move, Shayna?
I wouldn't use the word good to describe their strategy. I would mostly say they used an easy way out strategy. And that's because of their explanation for why he was sitting. And they basically just said that he was resting because they had a back-to-back against Cleveland and they wanted a better chance of winning at home, pretty much, which sounds ridiculous to me. And back in the day, I mean, you don't bench your best player for rest, just for random rest. And now Tyronn Lue is doing it with his big 3. Kevin Love, LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving won't be playing in Memphis tonight. So for the fans that bought tickets to that game tonight, it's going to be awful. And almost like I probably wouldn't go. But this is unfortunately our reality. So it's a shame. The Phil Jackson-LeBron James war has continued as Jay-Z kind of took a jab at Jackson as he introduced LeBron as the sports person of the year for Sports Illustrated. Tracy, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I think it's ridiculous. I think Phil Jackson need to take a step back and leave LeBron alone. You can't out-zen the king. All you're doing is motivating him against the Knicks. So I think Phil needs to take a step back. Let LeBron won't respond if Phil just leaves him alone. So LeBron is honestly a good dude, and he's not going to snap back unless he's bitten. So I think Phil just need to leave him alone so LeBron can continue to go play. I mean, you're not going to get in LeBron's head. It's not going to happen. You just motivate him.
All right, let's take a look at tonight's action a little bit closer. 10 games on the hardwood. Should be some good ones. Cleveland going to go back to Memphis now. It's the second of the home and home, but the Cavs are going to rest LeBron, Kevin, and Kyrie. Meanwhile, Boston, they'll be in San Antonio. Coach Popovich looking to take care of business against the youngster, the professor, Brad Stevens. That and many other games for our panel to take a look at right now on this Wednesday, December 14th.
Toronto heads to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers on their home court. Chuck, who will win and why?
Well, the 76ers are so bad, it doesn't matter that they're at home. It doesn't matter if they're away. They've only won 6 games this season. Toronto, on the other hand, is one of the better teams in not only the Eastern Conference, but all of basketball. Because of DeMar DeRozan, this guy is on an absolute tear. He's won over 30 points in 12 of the team's 24 games. That's half their games that they've played. They're playing phenomenal basketball. They've won the last 13 meetings against the Philadelphia 76ers, and I don't see why they don't make it 14 tonight. The Sixers are looking like the Sixers that we've seen the last several seasons, like they're headed for a number 1 pick right now. And on the flip side, the Raptors are looking like a team that could potentially be heading to the NBA Finals or very close to it at the end of the year. Toronto wins the ball game. Okay, Shayna, we got the Clippers heading out to Orlando to take on the Magic. Will this game be closer than expected? And tell us who will win, and most importantly, why.
I do think this game could be closer than we may expect it to be, and that's because the Clippers haven't been playing all that great as they were in the beginning of the season. They've lost 5 of their last 9 games, and Orlando has been able to keep it close with better teams. They beat OKC earlier this season. They kept it close with the Cavs. So will this game be closer? Potentially, yes. But will they have the opportunity to win? I don't believe so. I'm still going to go with the Clippers for the victory on this one. And that's because they just have a better backcourt and a much stronger front court. So if the Clippers come out and play the game that they have been playing, I think they're going to come away with the victory tonight.
Can my Lakers get a win? Or will the Brooklyn Nets, with Lynn back at Brooklyn, be too strong? Tracy, who wins and why?
Well, Yannick, you got to look at it this way. The Nets are tailor-made for the Lakers to get a win. The Lakers beat them twice last year. There's some extra confidence with the youngins. Nick Young and D'Angelo Russell are back. So they're going to start finding their rhythm soon. And this is a perfect time for them to get a W. Brooklyn is struggling. Lynn's back. A little bit of experience for them. But I don't really see him being that much of an impact to beat the Lakers. So this is their win.
Maybe the game of the night here as the Oklahoma City Thunder travel to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz. Tell me, will the Jazz have the home court advantage in winning this one?
Well, Jay, I think they absolutely will, but I think you also have to add in that for OKC, this is the second night of a back-to-back. So they're traveling from Portland to Salt Lake City, which is a tough jaunt. But also knowing Quinn Snyder, the advantage is going to be the Jazz's defense. The game plan is going to be to force Russell Westbrook to take low percentage shots. And the Jazz are going to be able to do that with their length. They're extremely disruptive. And then when there's drive-bys, the key for the Utah Jazz is to have Russell always seeing a group, building a wall of Jazz players so that when he puts it on the floor, he's got to get through a crowd. And if, in fact, he does, which he can, Rudy Gobert is going to be there at the rim protecting it. That's what he does best.
So I like this game because the Celtics have been playing really good basketball, and now they're headed down to San Antonio to take on the Spurs at the AT&T Center. Jay, what can we expect from this game?
Well, the Celtics have been playing good basketball as of late, and particularly playing pretty well on the road this year with an 8-6 record away from Boston. Meanwhile, San Antonio has not been its usual dominant self at home, as they have lost 4 of their 5 games overall in the AT&T Center at San Antonio. However, the Spurs have been predictably excellent as of late, winners of 14 of their last 16, and they're coming off of their best win of the season, a 130-101 beating of the Nets on Saturday. Now they play Boston, a team that they've beaten 10 consecutive times in a row dating back to the 2010 season. They won the first matchup in Boston 109-103, and I look for that winning streak to continue in San Antonio tonight.
You know I love this part of the show when we bring on our resident expert, our handicapper, Johnny Robb. Johnny gives us the Vegas angle look on all these games. Johnny, what do you have tonight? All right, Johnny, get a little creative for me now. Need a money line play. Not only do I need one, I think our viewers need one as well. Where's Johnny going? Money line, hardwood. Give it to us, big guy.
Well, Ken, this may sound a little crazy, or it may not, but I'm going to go with Memphis over Cleveland tonight, minus 360. So 360 down wins you 100. Cleveland's got LeBron sitting, Kyrie sitting, Kevin Love sitting. Memphis is a great defensive team. So to me, this one seems like easy money.
All right, Johnny, what about over-under? I know Houston at home, a lower total for them tonight, just 217 against Sacramento. And also on the lowest end of things, what about Dallas at home, just 189.5 against Detroit? What about that over-under? Where's Johnny going tonight?
Well, Ken, as tempting as those games are, especially the Dallas one, I'm looking over at Los Angeles Lakers tonight in Brooklyn against the Nets, 228.5. I got to go under. Julius Randle is questionable. Same thing with D'Angelo Russell. I just don't see him breaking that. So I got to go under 228.5. Los Angeles Lakers, Brooklyn Nets.
All right, Johnny Kid, this is it. If I have $1,000 and I got to put it on one play tonight, where am I going? What's the best bet for Johnny Robb?
Well, Ken, that's a lot of pressure, $1,000. But if I got to put it down, I'm going to put it down on OKC versus Utah tonight. I'm going to take the Oklahoma spread, +7 to cover. Yes, they got it handed to them last night against the Trailblazers, but sometimes that's just what the Trailblazers do. And Utah's a great team. It's my hometown. I love them. I think they're going to win the game, but they're also a team that, they don't really blow people out. So I think OKC is going to bounce back. I'm taking 7 points to cover OKC. All right, Ken, same question. Right back at you. What's your bet? What's your number one bet?
Johnny, Utah Jazz, baby, going to take care of business. Going to drain some threes tonight with Hayward back in the lineup and a banged-up Oklahoma City team. Oladipo may not play. Russell Westbrook also very, very tired right now. Going for that streak where Jordan, of course, 7 straight triple-doubles. He got that but couldn't get over the hump and get the 8th one. I really think emotionally it took a lot out of the team. They're going to go up after the game last night, and they're going to get whipped pretty good. I think Utah by double digits rolls. I think Hayward has a big night. I think the crowd gets into it. Give me the Jazz, -7 at home. Best bet of the night, Johnny Kid. All right, 1/4 of the way through this NBA season. Lots going on in the world of NBA fantasy. Let's take a look at some of the surprise guys. Sean Kilpatrick, Sergio Rodriguez, and Harrison Barnes, amongst others. Let's throw it to our panel.
Okay, Jay, let's talk about Harrison Barnes. He's had a 74.3% lead this season with the Mavs, as opposed to what he had last season as a member of the Golden State Warriors. Is Harrison playing a different type of game with the Dallas Mavericks compared to when he was a member of the Golden State Warriors? Let me know.
Well, Chuck, he is definitely playing a different game. Last year with the Golden State Warriors, he shot only 9.5 times a game and played only 30 minutes a game. That was 4th in shot attempts and 4th in minutes on the team last year. Now, as would be expected from a blockbuster deal in the offseason, 4-year, $95 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks, he is now the focal point of that offense. He's leading the team in minutes at 37 a game and leading the team in shot attempts at 17.5 per game. As a result, he's having an expected career season, averaging 21 points per game and nearly 6 rebounds. He's having a great year, but there's still room for growth in his game. Sergio Rodriguez has spent a couple of years in Spain at Real Madrid before returning to the NBA with a EuroLeague MVP. Chuck, tell me, with Bayless now injured, should Sergio be on your roster?
Yes, I would have Sergio on my roster. I like Sergio. As you said, he was overseas for a couple of years, but now he's back. Now that Bayless is down, I think Sergio has been playing well the last couple of games, and he's going to continue to play well. I think he's going to fill up the stat line from an assist standpoint. He's averaging about 7 assists over his last 6 or 7 games. So that bodes pretty well if you want to play Sergio in your lineup. If you need assists, then I would insert Sergio Rodriguez into the lineup at the point guard spot. Okay, let's turn our attention to Detroit Pistons point guard Reggie Jackson. Is he a cheap pickup in trade talks? What do you think, Jay?
Well, Chuck, since being acquired by the Detroit Pistons from the Oklahoma City Thunder in the 2014-15 season in a 3-way deal, Reggie Jackson has seen his usage rates and production skyrocket. We saw it in 27 games that season, and then last year, when in 79 games he averaged almost 19 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds. Now, he did miss 21 games this season with left knee tendonitis, and he has been suffering from some post-injury rust since his return 5 games ago. As a result, he is a cheap pickup at this time. Therefore, I say to strike when the iron is hot and try to acquire him on your roster, as those minutes are sure to be on the rise in the next few games, as is his production.
Thanks for watching our show tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. If you agree or disagree with any of the comments, please let us know. Also, if you have any questions for our panel or any topics you'd like to discuss, please let us know as well. We'll raise those with our experts. We'll try and get them on the next show. I'm your host, Ken Thompson. I've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching Quickie TV, NBA Today, Quick Shots.